We are following breaking news this morning out of Lynchburg, where there is a large police presence in the 1500 block of Floyd Street.
WFXR's Hazel Marie Anderson is live in Lynchburg this morning. Hazel Marie, tell us, what do you see? What's going on?
Well, as of right now, what she said, there is a large police presence. I'm going to walk across the street so you can see exactly what's going on. We are currently on Floyd Street, in between a 15th and 16th Street. Now, what I have been able to gather as of right now, police say that just this block that you see right here is affected. It has been closed down, but right before we went on air, there were plenty of school buses. So as of right now, it looks like a school bus is about to come because there's a bus stop, but school buses are going to be able to pick up the children at this moment. What I have been able to learn is that something did occur in the house. There's a brick house, a second brick house in between 15th and the 16th block of Floyd Street. So once again, I'm still learning and working on this story. We have reached out to Lynchburg Police Department at this moment, and once again, we are working to get you more information. As of right now, once again, the block between 15th and 16th on Floyd Street here in Lynchburg is blocked off. There are police presence. There are investigators currently looking at the scene. It also goes down a little bit further into the tree line. We will keep you updated as things unfold. Back to you.
Well, tonight, police need your help with a homicide investigation after a 6-year-old boy was shot and killed.
Just into the newsroom tonight, this surveillance video showing several people firing shots into the home on Floyd Street in Lynchburg last night, then running away.
WFXR's Haley Connor has been following this story all day and brings us up to speed.
It was a very busy morning at the 1500 block of Floyd Street. Now, the victim in the shooting has been identified as 6-year-old Kingston Campbell. The Lynchburg Police Department says that he was shot in the head while playing a video game on his bed. Now, Sean Hunter, the president of the Peacemakers of Lynchburg, says they are not going to stay silent about what happened here today.
And there is no snitch code when it comes to senseless violence like this. And so the community is going to have to come out, and we're going to have to push back. And that's what's going to have to take for us to stop this senseless violence. And we got babies dying. So if the babies are dying sleep, can you imagine all of us are at risk?
The boy's stepfather says that all kids want to do is come outside and play and have fun, but they are no longer able to do that.
Who knows what's going on outside, and your kids might get hit by a straight bullet because of somebody else's drama or what else is going on. I don't have no words right now. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm gonna do tomorrow whenever I go to sleep and I don't hear him say my name.
Larry Taylor is a city council member at large in Lynchburg. He says this needs to stop and they need to force these people out.
It also starts at home. When we're raising our children, we need to be able to discipline our children, teach our children to respect others. And as they grow into this stuff. And it needs to stop.
He also says there needs to be further deep discussions about this. Now, they are asking anyone who was in the area at the time of the incident or anyone who may have any security camera footage to contact the Lynchburg Police Department. Reporting in Lynchburg, Haley Connor, WFXR News.
All right, Haley, thank you. Again, no one has been arrested in this case. If you can identify anyone in that video, you're asked to call LPD, and that video is up on our website, WFXRTV.com. You can follow on there for the latest on this. We're continuing coverage out of Lynchburg, where police are still searching for the people responsible for shooting and killing that 6-year-old Kingston Campbell on Monday night.
We've reported that he's the third child to be killed from gun violence in the Diamond Hill area in just the last 3 months.
WFXR's Anna McDougal spoke with the Lynchburg Police Chief Ryan Zudema as well as community members about these tragedies.
Anna, what are they saying?
Drew and Kathleen, good evening. Well, throughout the day, I spoke with several members of the Diamond Hill community, many of them parents themselves. And as you can imagine, people are pretty shaken up. But the one thing that they all told me was up until recent years, they never really worried about gun violence in their community. And now it's a constant concern. On Monday, 6-year-old Kingston Campbell was shot and killed in his home on Floyd Street. Back in March, a 16-year-old was shot and killed on 16th Street. And in February, a 12-year-old was shot and killed at a home on Monroe Street. Lynchburg Police Chief Ryan Zudema says they are cracking down on the senseless killings.
We are in a time where a 6-year-old child was killed sitting in his home. We all have a duty and a responsibility. The police department and every member of this community has a duty and a responsibility to work towards creating an environment where that type of stuff is not tolerated and is not accepted.
Zudema says they are working with local, state, and federal authorities to decrease violence in the Diamond-Tail community.
We've already had an increased police presence in the area. We've been trying to focus through a violent crime response team on certainly addressing individuals who are responsible for a disproportionate amount of crime. Certainly some of that is gang-related activity. We're going to continue to make sure we're putting extra resources towards those individuals. We want to make sure that those individuals are not in our community.
One Diamond-Tail resident who preferred to not be named says the increasing violence seems to be creating a domino effect.
With every crime that increases, a child is hurt.
They add that the #1 priority needs to be protecting the children in our communities.
Love the children, protect the children, and help the children. Because, I mean, if the children die, the children are the future, so is no future.
Chief Zudema shares a message to the Diamond-Tail community.
We are here to support you. We're here to make sure that you understand that we're going to put all the resources we have to address that. And a bigger part of that message, though, is that we need your help doing that.
Zudema adds that if the death of a 6-year-old boy who was just playing video games in his home when he was shot and killed doesn't shake the community to step up and help reduce the violence, then he doesn't know what will. Live in Lynchburg, Anna McDougall, WFXR News.
Anna, thank you. As we said, no arrests have been made in that case. Police are asking the community to please come forward with any information that may help with the investigation.
Top story tonight, honoring the life of Kingston Campbell, the 6-year-old boy shot and killed in Lynchburg last week.
Today, family, friends, and the community came together to lay that young boy to rest.
WFXR's Haley Connor was at his funeral.
It was a very emotional and heartfelt day here at Ramp Church International as family members and community members came together to honor the life of Kingston Campbell.
And I tell him, you know I love you.
Family members got on stage and made remarks about the life of Kingston and the large impact that he had on the Lynchburg community.
Kingston, oh Kingston, I'm sorry, baby boo. I love you, my superhero. I miss and love you.
Local people from the community shared what Kingston's death means for Lynchburg and how they refuse to live or go anywhere where it is okay for a 6-year-old to die like this. They also spoke about how this incident needs to incite change in the area.
We expect to look in the eyes of Kingston today. We've got to begin to look at how he looked at things. But we come to step this thing out today that we're going to set some standards in the city of Lynchburg that is not going to happen anymore. Look at somebody and say, that's the last time.
Local community members will be having a meeting at the Jubilee Center on Thursday. Now, people can also donate to a reward fund that they are starting at the Bank of the James to hopefully help find whoever was involved in the shooting. Reporting in Lynchburg, Haley Connor, WFXR News.
Now happening right now, a fundraiser is being held for Kingston's family. It's happening at the Jubilee Family Development Center. They're holding a youth benefit basketball game. Tickets are $5. And we do want to remind you, no arrests have been made in this case. We have told you several people were caught on this surveillance video shooting into Kingston's family home along Floyd Street last week. If you recognize those people or if you have any information that could help police, you're asked to give them a call. We will continue to bring you updates as we get them on air and online.
It was an emotional conversation as we spoke about Kingston, from his love of video games to wanting to be a football player.
Let me give you some though.
Shay didn't want us to show her face, but she does want everyone to hear her message and know that no one should be a victim in their own home.
I just want everybody to just feel like they could be safe in their own home. Their kids can be safe. You don't have to worry about nothing.
Shay Fowler didn't know that when her 3 children and their stepfather, Hugh, dropped her dinner off at work, it would be the last time she saw her son.
They brought my food. Kingston was in there running the store with his sister. I told him, like, you know you're not supposed to be running in here. You know, that was just it. And then they left.
A few hours later,
she was like, Kingston been shot. He's bleeding.
Your oldest?
My youngest daughter said that. So I'm like, I'm not even trying to believe what she's saying. Plus, I'm like, stop playing. Why would you say that? And my youngest daughter said it again. Kingston was shot. I don't know what else my daughter was talking about at that point. I just know I ran up the steps to my son's room, and that's when I went in that room and I opened the door, and that's when I saw him. And I just remember screaming so loud, and he was laying face down, and I could see it was dark in our house.
And immediately she knew the worst.
I ran over there and grabbed him, and I flipped him over, and I held him. And that's when I saw he was shot in his face. You could tell exactly what happened, because how the bullet went through my son's window and how their bed is. You could tell he was sitting in his bed playing the game, and the shot went through the window, and he was sitting up, and it hit him in his face.
Later on that Monday, Lynchburg police released surveillance footage of the incident.
I'm guessing, I don't know what they were doing something, standing there for 15 minutes before they started shooting. But yes, to know y'all could stand there and just open fire on my house like that and shoot my child and just run away.
Do you think it was targeted?
Personally, yes, I do. I won't really talk about all of that, but yes, everyone who lives over there, they know exactly who they were trying to shoot at, and it was not at my house. I think they thought the person lived at my house.
Well, as of right now, we did reach out to police. We haven't heard anything else. There's no new information.
Yeah, and that's another thing that makes me mad.
Why does it make you mad?
Because I just feel like, I don't want to say it, but I feel like it's nothing going to get done about it, honestly.
Why?
Because it's always like that, and it's just always like that.
Shay goes on to add later in the interview that she understands the process will take time, but she doesn't want Kingston to be forgotten.
I just feel like eventually people are just going to go about their life. It's not their child, so eventually people going to go about their life. No one's going to be thinking about that. These boys are still going to be out here, and it could happen to somebody else, and it does not need to happen again.
Shay, her daughters, and Hugh haven't stepped through the doorway of the house on Floyd Street since. The memory of what happened is too painful.
I just wish they would have waited until I got off work and did that to me while I was walking in the house instead of my child. And I know he's in a better place, and he had to use my son as an example. And something good gonna come out of it, because hopefully it never happens again.
In Lynchburg, Hazel Marie Anderson, WFXR News.
We go now to Lynchburg, where one organization is taking a different approach to getting answers. The nonprofit One Community, One Voice has launched a reward fund to find those responsible for the death of Kingston Campbell. That's the name of the 6-year-old boy shot and killed in his bed just 2 weeks ago. WFXR's Anna McDougal joins us live from Bank of the James tonight. Anna, where is that reward money coming from?
Kathleen, good evening. Well, One Community, One Voice is working with the Bank of the James to make this reward fund possible. All people have to do is go to any Bank of the James location and say that they want to make a donation to the Kingston Campbell Reward Fund. Now, they can also scan a QR code straight from the One Community, One Voice Facebook page and make a donation online as well.
Two things it's going to do for our community. Once, it's going to solve some of these crimes that are going unsolved. Secondly, it's going to tell those perpetrators that it's not easy anymore.
Executive Director of One Community, One Voice, Dr. James Cam, says he believes a cash reward may encourage people to come forward with information.
I think this would be more of an incentive for people that feel a little threatened to feel a little more comfortable to do it.
He says in the future, the fund will also be used to help solve existing cold cases, as well as install safety features such as lights and cameras into high crime areas.
Kingston Reward will continue. We're going to continue to use it for any unsolved crime. So this is going to be something that we'll always remember him. And from this day forward, every crime, we're going to always we try to keep funds in it, that if it's another crime, we can offer an award to those citizens that come forward and inform the police of what's going on.
The anti-gun violence group Peacemakers says the community needs to come forward if they have any information on the case.
The safety of the children is number one. Safety of the citizens in the communities throughout the city of Lynchburg is number two. And ending gun violence brings peace and calm to areas.
Both Cam and Barbara say although no amount of effort can ever fully take away the pain of losing a child, they hope this fund will help bring some peace to Kingston's family.
Because of Kingston, we're going to make sure our community is more safer by doing this.
Relief to Kingston's family and justice for Kingston.
Now, I reached out to the Lynchburg Police Department earlier, who tell me at this time there are no updates on the investigation. They're continuing to ask the community to reach out to Crime Stoppers if you have any information on Kingston's case. Reporting live in Forest, Anna McDougall, WFXR News.
Anna, thank you. WFXR has been following this case closely since that shooting happened, including sitting down exclusively with Kingston Campbell's mom, who says she's trying to keep her little boy's memory alive as they fight for justice. You can find that and all of our coverage of the case at WFXRTV.com.
In continuing coverage, it's been 4 months since 6-year-old Kingston Campbell was shot and killed while playing video games inside his bedroom on Floyd Street in Lynchburg. His family still wants answers. And the Lynchburg Police Department says it's still actively investigating, working around the clock to solve this crime. However, they say they need the community's help.
We're confident that there's somebody out there that knows exactly what happened. We just need to sit down with them and talk to them about it so we can bring this to a close. Any loss of life is certainly tragic, but we're talking about a 6-year-old child here who was very innocent, sitting in his room. And this kind of touches the heartstrings of a lot of people.
Well, Lynchburg Police says if you know anything about what happened, you should call Detective Hall or Crime Stoppers. We have that number for you at the bottom of your screen.
Well, it's been up to 5 months since 6-year-old Kingston Campbell was shot and killed while playing video games in his Lynchburg home. However, police have still not been able to identify any suspects. They're once again calling for the community to help with this case.
WFXR's Anna McDougall joins us live from Lynchburg tonight, where she's been speaking with police about this case.
Anna, what can you tell us?
Drew and Kathleen, the Lynchburg police say they need people to come forward with information. They say in the last 5 months since Kingston's death, they've only received 5 tips from community members, none of which moved the investigation forward.
This is a case where a 6-year-old was taken way too young, way too short, taken from his family, taken from his community, and the future was basically robbed.
Since Kingston's death on May 1st, the Lynchburg Police Department has been searching for answers about who killed him. Surveillance footage shows 4 people shooting multiple times near Kingston's home and running away. Now, 5 months later, police are pleading with people to come forward.
This is one of those we haven't gotten a lot of information from people in the community.
Sergeant Collins says it's not uncommon for people to be hesitant to send in tips, often due to fear of retaliation. But he says with LPD's partnership with Crime Stoppers, people can submit a tip and at no point will their name or identity be found out by anyone else. This includes both police and Crime Stoppers. Instead, you'll be identified by a PIN number.
All of the many years we've been doing this, we have never identified a tipster.
President of Central Virginia Crime Stoppers, Bonnie Burley Cruz, says even the smallest bit of information could be the missing piece in this case.
Our whole community now is grieving, and we need this healing to come about.
Sergeant Collins also adds that you could be paid for your tip if it helps in the investigation. He says even in that instance, you will remain anonymous the entire time, no matter what. Live in Lynchburg, Anna McDougall, WFXR News.
For the 6th time this year, the Lynchburg Police Department says a minor has been shot. It happened along Cabell Street last night. This time, we're told a 17-year-old was hurt, and while that boy is expected to be okay, both police and community leaders say this has to stop. WFXR's Anna McDougall is live in Lynchburg tonight with what we now know. Anna?
Yeah, Kathleen, well, the people I spoke with today agreed that one crime like this is one too many. And while the city has enacted some strategies that have proven to be successful, everybody agrees that the work is not done.
We all have to take responsibility. What can we do to solve this problem?
A 17-year-old was shot last night on Cabell Street, just the latest in a series of shootings with victims under 18. The year's first was in February when a 12-year-old was shot and killed on Monroe Street. Just 1 month later, a 16-year-old died after being shot. In April, a 15-year-old was shot by another teenager. Then in May, 6-year-old Kingston Campbell was shot and killed, a case that horrified the community and remains unsolved. And in August, a 12-year-old was hurt in a shooting at an apartment complex. That's 6 for the year so far, and community advocates say it shows there's still a lot of work to be done.
We have got to continue to find ways to help our youth, to distract them and guide them in other directions. I think that's going to be the key thing.
Lynchburg Police and City Council enacted a youth curfew in May, and since then, violent crime in the city is down by more than 25%. A success story to be sure, but not the end of the story.
What are we doing to stop it? So what are the church, the faith-based community doing? What are our schools doing? What are parents doing? What are the ordinary citizens doing?
Now, the Lynchburg police were not able to speak with me on camera today, but they do say that they believe this is an isolated incident and that there's no direct threat to the general public. They're asking anyone with any information to give them a call. Live in Lynchburg, Anna McDougall, WFXR News.